Sitting on the park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intensity. Hey, Aquaman, drying in the cold sun, watching as the pretty Peggy.
1997 marked the 10-year anniversary of Mega Man. The Mega Man X series was well underway by this point, and the classic series had started to slow down in comparison to the annual releases it would get on the NES. But at this 10-year milestone, Capcom released the 7th sequel to the original classic, Mega Man 8, on the Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn. It maintains the formula of its predecessors, a 2D side-scrolling platformer with improved graphics and sound, including voice acting and full-motion video for cutscenes. These anime cutscenes open up things for a bulkier storyline than the older games. Even though the story has expanded, it doesn't strain itself too far away from its predecessors, which is a good thing because continuity is important in sequels. Otherwise, you might as well make it a fucking spin-off or something. The story itself and the animation are fine, but the problem is the dialogue and the voice acting. The actors themselves do a decent job with their roles, but the voices themselves that are associated with the characters is questionable at times, particularly with Mega Man and Dr. Light. Mega Man sounds like he's got his balls on a vice grip, and Light sounds like he's constantly shaping his mouth like an O, and he pronounces his L's as W's.
That's a good question. We may be able to locate another energy emission from the radar room. When we find that meteor, we'll find Dr. Wily.
Dr. Wily? What the hell is up with that? The Robot Master voices are also lackluster. Again, not the acting, but the characteristics that come from the voices. These robots are all goofy as shit. I know that this was a PG game, but still, you'd think that maybe even half of these robots could be a little bit more badass, but instead, they're all utilized as comic relief. Swordman is the only one that you can take seriously. The rest are dopes or wusses. Speaking of the Robot Masters, as usual, there are 8 of them, but similar to Mega Man 7, this game starts you off in an intro stage, followed by a lineup of 4 Robot Masters, an in-between stage, and then the other 4 Robot Masters. I don't have a problem with the additional stages, but I never cared for splitting the Robot Master levels into 2 groups. It makes discovering the robot's weaknesses easier, and it waters down the whole freelancing of the order you choose levels. I would think that they could just throw all 8 into the mix right away, keep the cutscene that plays in the middle once you defeat 4 Robot Masters, and then scrap the intermission stage. They have to clean up a few spots where having a specific weapon from the first lineup is mandatory to complete a section of one of the other later levels, obviously, but that could have easily been done. I don't know why they felt the need to split them up like that. Oh well. Another weird quirk is the weapon energy situation. In the old games, you had to conserve your weapon energy if you wanted to use it on a boss or a specific part later on in the level, especially in the Dr. Wily stages, because whatever you used up would carry over throughout the whole castle. But in Mega Man 8, if you die, all your weapons are filled up again. There's no need to conserve anything. You can be as reckless as you want with your weapons. I mean, it's nice to get your shit back, but I feel it takes a little bit of the strategy element out of it. One thing I do like is the ability to fire your Mega Buster while you have different weapons equipped. It keeps you from having to shift back and forth as often. Gameplay-wise, like I said, it maintains the formula from its predecessors. The controls and general layout of the levels, along with some additions, make this feel like an updated classic Mega Man game, which is what Capcom was going for. The soundtrack is mostly a departure from earlier games in the series. Of course, a lot of that has to do with the greater capabilities of sound on the PS1 and the Saturn, but the songs themselves are composed with a much different, slicker, new-agey feel to them, in contrast with the catchy but rougher, rockish melodies from the older soundtracks. Even if you listen to these songs in 8-bit form, which do exist by the way, you can notice a difference. I particularly don't care for it. It doesn't feel like a Mega Man soundtrack. I know that some of the songs fit the stages well, but some of them are just plain weak, particularly Aquaman's, which sounds like something you'd hear at the dentist's office. Of course, this is just my opinion. The sound quality is good in both the music and sound effects, but Mega Man's girly and whiny voice becomes annoying because you hear it quite a bit throughout the game, not just in the cutscenes. Every other time you jump or fire off the Mega Buster, he belts some shit out that is just plain unnecessary. The Robot Masters also have that habit of shouting the proper name for the attack they're performing. They were really going for that anime feel in this game. Going back to Mega Man's girly voice, it seems like he's treated as a young boy in this game. Some of the Robot Masters refer to him as such. So what is Mega Man, Benjamin Button or something? Look at the cover art. In Mega Man 1, he was nearing retirement age. Mega Man 2, he was middle-aged. Mega Man 3, 4, and 5, he seemed to be in his 30s. Mega Man 6 and 7, he was in his 20s, and now he's not even at puberty yet. Where the hell's he gonna go from here? Each of the Robot Master levels is split into 2 parts, and half of the stages have a mini-boss at the end of the first part, making up 4 mini-bosses total. After defeating each mini-boss, you'll obtain a Rush adapter. All of these you can only use once until you die or finish the level. There's the Rush cycle, which will allow you to drive through the level faster and jump further. It operates on a time limit. Rush item has Rush provide you with a random power-up. Rush bomb will drop a hellacious air raid of bombs on the on-screen enemies. And Rush Health will drop you a shitload of weapon and life energy capsules, which essentially replaces the energy and weapon tanks which are no longer a part of the game. The Mega Ball is another new item. You get it right at the beginning of the game. Mega Man drops a ball you can move around by walking into it, and pressing the attack button will kick the ball, dealing damage to whoever crosses its path. You can also use it as a springboard by jumping on it and pressing the jump button as soon as you land on it. There are also special items you can acquire from the store. You can access the store from the stage select screen. Throughout the game, you will come across bolts. These bolts are essentially the currency to purchase or build up these special items. Some items will cost you more bolts than others. The power shield prevents you from getting pushed back when hit. It costs 6 bolts. Spare Extra starts you off with 5 lives instead of 3, also costing you 6 bolts. The shooting part lets you shoot 5 blasts from the Mega Buster at once, 6 bolts. The energy balancer automatically fills your weapon with the least amount of energy when you pick up a capsule, 5 bolts. Exit lets you leave any Robot Master stage that you've already defeated, 4 bolts. Step Booster increases your ladder climbing speed, 5 bolts. Auto Shoot fires the arm cannon automatically while the Mega Buster is being charged, 5 bolts. Arrow Shot is an arrow power upgrade for the Mega Buster, 5 bolts. Laser Shot is a laser power upgrade for the Mega Buster, 5 bolts. Energy Saver saves the exact amount of energy required for a special weapon, 6 bolts. Super Recover increases the amount of life or weapon energy you recover, 5 bolts. Spare Charger automatically gives you your full life count back after finishing a stage, 4 bolts. Hyper Slider increases your slide speed, 5 bolts. Exchanger converts life energy to weapon energy when your life meter is full and you grab a power up, 4 bolts. The Boost part speeds up your arm cannon shots, 5 bolts. Rapid Part automatically fires 3 shots from the arm cannon each time you fire, 6 bolts, and the high speed charge speeds up the time it takes for you to charge up the Mega Buster, 7 bolts. Buy whichever parts you feel assist you the most once you have enough bolts. Now keep in mind that I'm walking you through the PlayStation version here, due to it being the version I had when it came out, and the fact that I don't have a Sega Saturn. It was the first version released, and it appears on the Anniversary Collection, so I guess it's the definitive version if there is one, despite the fact that the Saturn version has a few added features, like an art gallery, sound test, things like that, plus boss battles with the throwback Robot Masters Cutman and Woodman. Why the fuck didn't this make the cut on the PlayStation version? Another difference is the stage theme for Tengu Man. I don't know why, but they're completely different. Aside from all this, it's basically the same game on both consoles. So the game starts off with a cutscene in outer space where 2 robots engage in battle, and after a violent collision, they fall to Earth. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Mega Man battles Base briefly, ultimately holding him off. Dr. Light interprets the fallen robot as a meteor landing on a remote island, ordering Mega Man to retrieve the high level of energy it possesses to keep it out of the wrong hands. So the intro stage takes place on said island. After only a few enemies, you'll get the Mega Ball from Dr. Light, who communicates with you through Rush. These hermit crabs are protected in their shell when you hit them from behind, but if you attack from the front, they'll start rolling, possibly taking out enemies along your path. Otherwise, the enemies are all easy, just some hard hats and other basic shit to get you warmed up. After knocking this hermit crab onto the button, you'll activate the secret underground passageway. It's optional, and the overland route is actually easier, but I advise you to take the underground route. First thing you'll notice is that Mega Man can swim now. Wow, so he ages backwards, but takes forever to learn how to swim. Anyway, the reason you'll want to take this path are the 3 bolts that are down here. Right after opening up these doors, head to the upper left-hand side and it'll lead you to one. Then here, you'll want to wait for the platforms on the left to raise high enough so you can jump across. But before you do that, let the descending ones take you down and you'll get another one. The third one is right up here in front of the exit. You can't miss that one. Not long after surfacing, you'll meet the boss, this crab robot. He'll fire bombs in an arc pattern and jump from one side to the other. Slide under him and avoid the bombs. Don't stand too close to him either, or he'll grab you and squeeze the life out of you. He's a cakewalk though. As long as you use the Mega Ball, simply drop and kick the ball into his upper body. You'll stun him, but he'll have some recovery time, so time your shots and you can get several of them in before he can do anything. Once he's finished, Mega Man discovers Dr. Wily has stolen the energy source and takes off. Before Mega Man can give chase, he finds the fallen robot who's barely alive. Dr. Light tells Mega Man to go after Wily and he'll take the robot home for repairs. And now it's on to the first 4 Robot Masters Dr. Wily sends after you. Now there's no clear-cut weakness loop in this one, so don't shit on me if my order is different from yours. First, pick Grenade Man. These barrels are explosive and will set off chain reactions, blowing up all the ones in front of it, as long as it's the same color. So stand back when firing at them, and you might not want to even bother shooting at the ones that lead down to a pit. Just creates another obstacle. Landing on these platforms activate the 3-second timer before they blow up, so don't stay on them for too long, and take refuge on these safe platforms. Just watch out when jumping for these giant versions of those hamburger guys from Mega Man 2, and these things that pop up as you jump across. Head up here to grab the bolt, and the mini-boss is just ahead. It's an eye surrounded by trash. It'll send a line of crap overhead and drop it down. Simply move out of the way and use the Mega Ball. In between, it will sink underground and bounce from wall to wall in this pattern here, which will be recycled quite a few more times in this game. Slide away from it until it pops back out and repeat the process, and you'll get the rush cycle. Watch these hammers that swing back and forth. Pass by them when they're in the background and wait in between. There's a long stretch of explosive blocks over a pit. These ducts in the ceiling will drop these little flame guys that walk by and light the fuse, which causes them all to blow up in a domino effect. Kill them if you can, or run if it's too late and it's already lit. There's a bolt down here, but you're gonna have to bolt it if you want to get back safely. That was lame, I know. And here you have to let the blocks blow up to get by. Slide quickly to get to the ladder, or you can grab the bolt here if you want to live dangerously. Just make sure to jump back to the ladder as soon as you get it. Grenade Man's main attack is the Flash Bomb, a slow but powerful explosive that he'll shoot straight at you, or from an angle if he's clinging to the wall. Dodge him. He'll also leap across the room in an arc pattern and scatter some smaller bombs. Slide over to his direction to get away from them. He'll also drop large chunks of the ceiling down on you, as well as charge straight ahead from across the room. Slide to dodge the debris and jump over his charge. Charge up the Mega Buster while avoiding shit and blast him whenever you get the chance, following it up with some regular shots for good measure. After about 3/4 of his health are gone, he'll blow up the floor and take you to another battle area with a much different surface. He'll hop around and continue firing his small bombs. Stay low if you can and finish him off. You'll get the flash bombs, which are highly explosive and create a flash, as the name implies, which can deal out damage and illuminate some dark areas. Next up, Frostman. Toward the beginning, you'll end up on a bat-infested elevator. As it's descending, keep your distance and take them out. Right after, you'll end up on a rocket-powered snowboard. Shoot the penguins and rabbits in your path, and don't let yourself get caught underneath these hamburger guys that drop bombs. There'll also be a series of pits and narrow spaces where you'll need to slide to get through. This is where the infamous voiceover that instructs you when to jump and when to slide. That's so annoying, particularly because it happens over and over again. Do yourself a favor and listen to it though, because if you don't, you're gonna die and you'll have to go back and try again, and the voice is just gonna keep repeating. After the 4th jump, jump again on this platform to get a bolt. Soon after is the checkpoint to part 2 of the stage. Watch the huge chunks of ice that fire out at you, revealing penguins inside. These ships above will drop them, and the machine fires them. Shoot the ship if you can reach, but otherwise don't bother and just jump over them. Use the Mega Ball here to spring yourself up and grab the bolt. These things actually won't hurt you, but they leave a colored smoke trail behind that will distract you and obscure your vision, potentially into missing a jump, so shoot them as soon as you can to avoid it. They become more problematic here when you get back on the snowboard. This ride is a little tougher and a little faster, but just listen for the annoying cues and you'll be at Frostman before you know it. He's a big bastard. He'll jump slowly towards you. Slide under him or keep your distance if there's room behind you. Just watch out for his punches. His other attacks are the Ice Wave, which you can simply jump over and he'll smash the ground, causing the ice blocks hanging from the ceiling to fall. Dodge those, and sometimes he'll push an ice block at you. Jump over it. Your weapon of choice is the Flash Bomb. Fire at him pretty much any time. He's a big target and he's vulnerable to attacks at any point in the battle. When you finish him off, you'll get the Ice Wave, which runs across the floor and takes out enemies stationed there, but it's useless against anything airborne. Next choice is Tengu Man, and I don't know what the hell all the fuss is about. I may be in the minority here, but I actually prefer this PlayStation version of the song over the Saturn version. So the wind blows in a lot of spots in this stage, from left to right, so keep that in mind when you're timing your jumping distance. This bombardment of hard hats here can be a great source of power-ups. Blast the shit out of them. Then use these floating platforms that shift a bit vertically to get up here to grab a bolt. Hop on this device to access the floating bubble. You can shift yourself horizontally, but you have to be careful of all these spikes. Weave your way between them to the upper left and you'll be back on land soon. Right after this, Rush will appear and you'll ride the Rush jet across this wide open space, firing away at flying enemies. There's really not much more to say here, except keep everything in front of you and blast away. Also, you'll find these pink balloons. Shoot them and an icon pops out. The face of the icon rotates between Rush, Beat, Flip Top, and Auto. Whichever one you get, that character will join you and help you out. In the case of Rush, who was already there, he'll gain the ability to fire. After a little while of this, you'll run into the laser gun. It'll fire 3 slow projectiles or a powerful laser. You'll hear it charging up right before it fires, so stand back, shoot, and retreat once you start hearing the charge up sound effect. After taking it out, grab the bolt down here, and the first half of the stage is over. The second half starts out with another of these bubbles, but it's a little more difficult. Slip between the shifting spikes, and then head all the way right, and then all the way left to hit the biggest gaps. Back on land, the wind will blow you again, so watch your jumps, and be careful if you choose to pursue this bolt. The wind makes it a tougher jump than it looks. Tengu Man is not far away, and the battlefield you get is pretty open. You'll send the tornado hold, which is a shifting tornado that sends you up into the air, followed by Tengu Man slamming you into the ground. Run away from it or use the ice wave to wipe it out. He'll also send a wind gust that picks you up and tries to dump you off into one of 2 pits on either side of the area. You can escape from its clutches, but you don't want to risk death, so jump over it. He'll also perform a diving attack. Jump over him and slide out of the way, as he'll try to land on you. This is the best time to use the ice wave on him, and you can get 2 shots in if you're quick enough. Because of the ice wave's limited range, while he's floating in the air back and forth between attacks, your best bet is to use the Mega Buster when he's low enough. Be patient with him, and you'll do just fine. The tornado hold is the weapon you'll get from him. It does the same thing it did when you fought him, except it's stationary. It can wipe out enemies within the vertical parameter of the tornado, plus you can ride it upwards to get to higher places. Last robot in this segment is Clown Man. You'll fall into a trap door right away, and now you're on a bad acid trip at the circus. There's a bolt over this gap, but it's too far away to jump, and the ceiling's too close for a Mega Ball or tornado hold, so hop into the Rush cycle and ride your way across. These trains will carry you across the track. Just make sure you stand on the green cart portion. The blue front will burn your ass. The third set has a collision in the middle, so jump off, but make sure you don't land in the middle. There's a pit down there. These boxes with the X's and O's are significantly different from each other. In the background, you'll see this toy that moves along a track and swings its hammer at the bell. Once it does, the boxes flash, and you'll want to be standing on an O block, because the X's will spring a boxing glove to your face. The mini-boss is this goofy-looking metal wheel or something. It'll bounce around in the same predictable pattern I mentioned in the earlier mini-boss at Grenade Man's level. He'll stop and spit out some mini-wheels and small toy soldiers that you see throughout the level. Blast them away. You don't want to get too close to them because they grab you and drain your life. Just keep sliding underneath and kick the Mega Ball at him. He'll be done in no time. The second half of the stage starts out with some more of these tic-tac-toe blocks, but now there's a skull box added to the mix. It'll drop you down below, and it's always above something bad, so listen for the sound cue of the hammer guy and get off the skull block unless you want a fist to the face or spikes up your ass. Soon after is a teleportation box, indicated by the question marks. They'll send you from one box to the other, and you have to find the correct sequence while shooting down nearby enemies. So after entering the first one, jump left here to take this one up. Shift right 1 space for the next strip, and then take the second one from the left, and the rest is a straight shot to Clown Man. He'll swing around in circles, jump over him when he's on his way around, and slap the tornado hold on him when he lands. He'll roll around in that same recycled pattern. He's invincible here, so don't bother attacking, just slide away. And when he calls for the Thunderclaw, jump away from where you're standing, as the hands that pop out will drain your life. Use the tornado hold whenever you get an opening until he's dead. You'll get the Thunderclaw, a retractable weapon that can also grab onto things and swing you across. So then you'll get a cutscene where Mega Man checks up on the injured robot's progress, who is still recovering. Dr. Light investigates the energy resources Mega Man collected from the Robot Masters, telling him that they're really powerful and he must get the rest of them before Dr. Wily does. After they leave the room, the injured robot awakens and gets a reading that his nemesis that he battled earlier is still alive, and he goes apeshit, busting out of there. So Mega Man heads out after him. This is the intermission stage before the next set of Robot Masters. Use the Mega Ball or Tornado Hold to spring up to this ladder. There's a bolt on the left and a bolt on the right. The level is really short. It's just a few enemies before the battle with the escaped robot. Mega Man tries to reason with him, but he's having none of it. He's really not too difficult. Keep your distance and jump away from his punches. He'll roll all over the walls, ceiling, and floor, but his pattern is easy to dodge. Just stay in the center area and adjust if you need to. Blast him with the Mega Buster, and eventually he stops, sensing your strong morals. Proto Man interrupts the conversation, and the robot takes off. Proto Man warns you not to trust him, as he might be in cahoots with Dr. Wily, also informing him that Wily Towers is nearby. So Mega Man heads off to face Wily, but gets caught by a giant robot. As he's about to be crushed, the robot you just battled comes to make the save, revealing his name as Duo, a robot designed specifically to eliminate all evil energy from the universe. He destroys the big bastard and informs Mega Man of the evil energy that's being kept inside Wily Towers, and that it must be destroyed before it grows to ridiculous proportions. The castle is impenetrable, so Mega Man sets off to find the energy sources that keep the shield up, so it's on to the next 4 Robot Masters. The first one you should choose is Astro Man. There'll be a series of appearing and disappearing platforms, not quite the disappearing blocks from all the other Mega Mans. These all appear and disappear in unison. Which reminds me, what the fuck is up with that? No disappearing blocks in this game? What a jip. Anyway, when you use these platforms, keep in mind that they don't last too long, so don't get yourself caught in a tight space. Try to land in some breathing room between pits. You'll then access the indoor portion, which is basically a maze with buttons that will change the position of several walls. You'll need to have certain walls set in place to have access to the end, which is represented by this giant skull on the floor. Hit the first red button to open the door, then push it again and slide under to open up the area up there. Head right, use the Mega Ball to get up here, and hit the green button which opens the door to the end. Then slip down here and you've reached the end. Now you're in a building that's collapsing. Quickly run through everything. Slide to get the bolt here only if you're high enough to survive, and soon after that is the halfway point. The second half starts off much like the first, with the appearing platforms. Use them to advance, and take breaks on the regular floors. On this part, don't jump on all 3 platforms. You don't have enough time. Skip the one here in the upper left hand corner, and there's an easy bolt waiting for you down here. And now it's on to the second of these mazes. Follow the linear path and take the upper path here. Hit the red button, keep going, and hit the green one. Then turn back, climb the ladder up, and head back in the same direction. Skip the red button and you'll end up heading this way to a ladder downward. Hit the red button here, use the Mega Ball to get up here and grab the bolt. Then hit the green button and slip down here to get to the end, and Astro Man is ahead. He'll either send a pair of projectiles in circles around him, in which case you want to continuously jump over while shooting him, and use the flash bombs. He'll also teleport all over the place and send the Astro Crush at you, a barrage of falling debris. Slip into the gaps. Once you defeat him, you'll get the Astro Crush, which wipes out all of the enemies on screen and gives Mega Man a temporary hover, but unfortunately you only get 4 shots. Next up, Aquaman, who has the cleanest water in Mega Man history. Damn, he really puts a lot of effort into the upkeep of his H2O. When swimming up in this spot, watch out for the walls on the left. At first glance you may not realize that there's spikes lined up all the way down. Careful swimming around the spikes here too. Stay up high to avoid the spikes along the floor, and press the jump button in slow intervals so you don't hit the ceiling either. The mini-boss is this large thing that swims inside the waterfall and pops out to say hello. Land on the log so you can aim better, jump over his attacks, keep your distance, and unleash with the Thunder Claw. The second half of the stage has, you guessed it, more water. Swim carefully between these spiked balls and shoot everything in your path. Up here are more of these bomb timers. Try to get them activated and blown up as soon as possible when there are enemies around, so you can get the hell out of there. Here, there are 2 hazards underneath the center and right bombs. You can't escape through the right side, but you're better off going left because there are power-ups waiting for you over here. Not long after that is Aquaman, who forms a rainbow bearing his name. What a conceited fruitcake. You'll fire the water cannon, which is a stream of water that changes direction. Try to position yourself so it goes around you. Then there's the water balloons, where he lobs balls of water at you. Slide under or run away from them. He'll sometimes summon a huge wave of water underneath you, so jump away when he does this. The Astro Crush is the weapon of choice here, and you can use it anytime and it'll hurt him, but your 4 shots won't do him in, so you've got to settle for the Mega Buster after that, unless you want to just use a different weapon for the hell of it. After taking him out, you'll get the Water Balloon, which is much like Aquaman's attack, a water ball you'll lob in an arc pattern. You'll get a good 46 shots with it, but it's not the most powerful weapon in the world. Swordman is your next opponent of choice. There are 4 statues that block your path. To get them out of your way, you'll need to go through 4 separate segments of the stage and activate the switch at the end to move the statue. You can complete these segments in any order of your choosing by entering one of the pink orbs in the 4 corners of the room, although it really doesn't matter which order you choose. In each one, you'll be recommended to use one of the full weapons you acquired from the first 4 Robot Masters. The logo for each weapon will be inscribed in the background next to each portal. In the lower left-hand portal, you'll want to equip the Thunder Claw. Shoot down these rock men, and shoot the lever here to open up the door before the spiked ceiling comes down. Slide to get the bolt down here, but move quick, using the Thunder Claw to swing over these spikes, and the exit is up ahead. Make sure you push these switches, they're the ones that get the statues out of the way. In the lower right, you'll want the flash bombs. It's dark, so you'll want to light up the area so you can see the enemies, and this bolt here at the beginning. At the end, you'll get a little puzzle where you have to hit the 3 switches in the correct order to open up the door and access the exit. If you hit the wrong one of these rock men come down and you have to push them all to reset the switches. It's never the same combination, but it's not hard to figure out through trial and error, and the rock men are easy enough to defeat. In the upper left, you'll want the tornado hold. While the bats and rock men are trying to terrorize your ass, you want to shoot these devices to lock in with the other parts, and when they're too low, use the tornado hold to shoot them up. In the upper right, equip the Ice Wave. There'll be bursts of flame coming from below, but firing off the Ice Wave will freeze them up in a domino effect. Follow the Ice Wave so it freezes them all and makes an easy path to the end. Once all these statues are out of the way, it's time for the mini-boss. When the metal shield opens up, jump over the flames and attack with the flash bombs. Your target is the pink jewel. This hammer will come by halfway through the fight and take out the bridge, leaving 3 platforms over flame water underneath. Make sure you're on a platform that's not lined up with the hammer because it can still hurt you. Once you finish it off, you'll get the rush bomb. In the second half, there'll be a bolt with buttons on either side of it. Jumping on the button will shift it over in that direction. Line it up with the shooting flame, you'll see it warming up down there before it fires you up. Here you'll want to get over to the right as soon as possible because there are 2 of them. Once you're up, wait for them both so you can ride it across and reach the ladder easier. Down the home stretch, the bolt will continuously move when you stand on the button, so just ride it and shoot down the vampire bats along the way. They'll try to suck your blood, or oil I guess. Swordman will spin around in circles, shooting his torso at you. Slide underneath and back as he returns. You can't hurt him here. He'll run at you and his torso will disconnect again and fly overhead to catch up to it. Jump over the legs and fire water balloons at him. When he does this jump, this giant head will land down on you. Slide out of its way. His other attack is a swipe with the sword, along with some debris from it. Stay back and continue to unleash the water balloons. Once he's dead, you'll get the flame sword, a short-range weapon, but it does do some damage and you get a lot of shots. Plus you can use it to uncover some hidden items in certain spots. Last but not least is Searchman, or Searchman. This prick is literally two-faced. Throughout the majority of the first half of the stage, you'll want to use the Thunderclaw to make your way over these electric spike things and floating spike balls. When you get here, use the tornado hold to float up here. Quickly change to the Thunderclaw and swing your way up here to get another bolt. Right after that is the checkpoint to the second half of the stage. There'll be a set of doors blocking your path in the wall here. Shoot it to knock it out of the way, and in this case, do it quickly because there are spikes down here and you'll need the Thunderclaw to get across. Careful with your timing here. You want to make sure that you connect with the claw to get across these spikes, and if you can get it off the second time, swing your way over here and grab a bolt. Swing your way with the Thunderclaw here and be ready to fire off the arm cannon to knock down these doors as you approach Searchman. 3 bushes will drop down. He'll be hiding in one of them and you'll see a pair of crosshairs trying to zero in on you. Move around so they don't target you. When he emerges, slice him with the flame sword. He'll fire 4 missiles from above. Try to stand between them, and when he fires the spinning disc, wait for it to get low before jumping over it. This homing sniper is a bitch to avoid. These missiles go everywhere. Try to avoid them, but if you get hit, take advantage of your recovery time and move in close to him to get the flame sword on him. Once you take him out, you'll get the homing sniper, which will fire a missile at the nearest enemy and it'll lock onto it. So you don't even have to aim, but you also can't decide which enemy to attack if there are multiple enemies on screen. Now it's on to the Dr. Wily stages. Keep in mind, you can visit the store here between levels only if you've beaten the stage. You can pick stage select and go to the store after a game over, but if you do that, you'll start back at the first Wily stage, so only do this if you're already on the first stage. The first level starts off with the rocket board from Frostman's level, only this time it's much more difficult. You'll still get the jump and slide instructions, but there are a lot of jumps you have to make almost as soon as you land, and long jumps that you practically have to jump at the very edge of the platform to land successfully. You can make things easier on yourself if you're having a hard time with these long jumps by using the Astro Crush to keep yourself in the air for a little bit longer. Once you finally get off the board, you'll need to swing over these pits with the Thunder Claw. Try to focus on the orange hooks. They're guaranteed to lead you to where you want to go, including an extra life on this ledge. Land on the edge so you don't make contact with the gun and shoot it down. The boss battle is interesting. 4 different robots will be suspended from the ceiling in these little compartments. The one you want to hit is this one right here with the eyes. The other 3 will drop down and fire missiles, bombs, and other shit at you. The only way to defeat it is to kick the Mega Ball up into this compartment, but you have to be standing in the right spot to connect. Meanwhile, shoot down the other robots that drop down, and when you get some space, that's when you'll want to attack your target. Don't worry about running out of Mega Balls. The robots down below will provide you with some weapon capsules. Once you figure out where to stand to connect your shots, you should be able to take this boss out without much trouble. At the beginning of stage 2, you'll meet up with these wall clingers while climbing the ladders. They'll fire at you whenever you're on the same horizontal level as them, and they don't take too long between shots, so either take your time with killing them or just climb past them. After a little while, you'll come to a clearing, so Rush shows up to give you a lift. You'll also get help from some of your other buddies if you grab the icons along the way. Blast everything in sight and stay as far left as possible to give yourself plenty of room to see what's in front of you. Until you get here. Because the screen auto scrolls, you're gonna need to stay to the right so you can make it through these gaps in time or you'll get crushed. You'll face the boss in this flying state. This flying ship will appear and fire these purple projectiles from its ass that will float in your direction. Shoot them down, and when the ship extends its arms vertically to fire missiles or lasers at you, hit it with the Astro Crush. The beauty here is that you don't need to be lined up with it horizontally. You can stay out of the path of its attacks and unleash with the Astro Crush. You can take out the arms of the ship on the vertical level, which will subdue its missile attacks from that area, but they won't drain any of its health, so don't waste your Astro Crush on that one. If you run out, you can use the Flash Bombs or regular Mega Buster as a substitute. At the beginning of the 3rd stage, slide down here to avoid the shit up there, and to grab a mystery item in this balloon, but be ready for a close range battle with Sniper Joe. Once you start climbing these ladders, you'll see the wall clingers and time bombs you have to jump across to get to the other side. Don't stop on one of these things to shoot the bastard, because you'll speed up the timer each time you land on it and you'll fall back down. Take them out before jumping, and if you can't, then concentrate on getting across the bombs without shooting. Just stop for a second if you have to let its attack pass you. Ride this walking bomb for a bit, then jump on the regular bomb. Let the spiked ball pass you and then jump over it so you can reach the next one safely. Let this guy throw the boulder onto the spike so you have something to stand on, then take him out and ride the tornado hold upwards, grabbing the life capsule if you need it before getting to the ladder. You'll have a mini boss battle with Bass halfway through the stage. He'll fuse with treble like last time and fly overhead, but you can reach him from here. Use a charged up Mega Buster shot. He'll fire a pair of large but slow moving shots, jump between them and pump him full of lead. When he flies off screen, he'll come back down and fire a laser straight down. Head to the opposite side of the room and he won't touch you. When he fires straight up into the air, a shower of projectiles will come down, followed by another. Stand just near the edge of the room to dodge the first wave, and then right against the edge on the second. After dealing enough shots, he'll talk some trash and then take off. After defeating this guy, making this jump isn't exactly automatic, so use the tornado hold if you have a hard time with it. No sense in falling down the pit for no reason. and kill the Sniper Joe to get the extra life behind him. Careful of the spiked ball when jumping across the narrow platforms. Wait for it to clear, and then the boss is just ahead. A modified version of the old Yellow Devil rock monster. Instead it's the Green Devil blob monster, I guess. The eye inside is your target. One flash bomb will clear some of the blob out of the way, and use the Thunder Claw on the eye to drain its health. In between attacks, it'll either slip into the floor and attack you through the grates. Just keep away from the eye, that's where the attacks will come from. The other attack is the same from the Mega Mans 1 and 3 with the blocks shifting across the screen. Jump or slide to avoid them. Keep the strategy up until it's destroyed. The fourth Wily stage is the traditional Battle All the Robot Masters Again level. The left side of the room houses the first 4 robots you faced, and the right side has the other 4. Use the same weapons on each of them that you did the first time, except this time use the Thunder Claw on Grenade Man, and the Homing Sniper works well on Astro Man. After taking down all 8 of them, you'll move on up to the final battle with Dr. Wily. As soon as you walk into the room, you get immobilized by a surge of energy from Wily. Right as he's about to finish you off, Duo comes out to make the save, but absorbing all that punishment has taken its toll on Duo. So right as Wily is about to finish off the both of you, Proto Man makes his entrance and takes Duo away for repairs, leaving you and Wily to battle one-on-one. Use the flash bombs or a charged up Mega Buster shot on the head of the skull to attack, and to prevent him from firing off his laser shot. He'll send a huge metal blade that will either roll along the floor and then back. Jump over it twice. It'll also bounce a few times. Position yourself under it or slide. He'll fire orbs of energy at you slowly. Try to jump over these, and when it sends the purple shot up into the air, get away from the edge and jump when it lands, as it rides its way across the floor. Once you drain all of its energy, Wily takes his second form in traditional fashion. It's very similar to the Mega Man 7 final boss, although not quite as much of a pain in the ass. He'll disappear, then reappear, and shift around a little bit before attacking. While he's shifting, that's when you're going to want to hit him with the Flame Sword. You'll always be able to reach him, no matter how high he is. Just try to time your strike with when he's at his lowest point in his pattern. His attacks include the same shifting orbs from the Mega Man 7 battle. They'll shift twice, so try to get as far away from them as possible so you can anticipate where they're coming from easier. He'll also fire off 2 variations of a ring of purple shit that spreads out. Try to get between them. If he fires the purple shit into the air, get ready to jump because 2 projectiles will land and spread across the floor. You'll probably want to use the rush health to refill your life meter once it gets low, and fill your flame sword back up while you're at it. Once you take him out, Wily will once again beg for his life, and like last time, Mega Man isn't buying his bullshit. But then a wave of energy will engulf Mega Man, immobilizing him as the building starts collapsing around them. It cuts to an enemy cutscene with Mega Man flat on his back, dying. Duo revives him, sucking out the evil energy that fucked him up, and Proto Man shows up to see what's going on, and Duo asks him for a favor before he leaves. So Mega Man awakens in Dr. Light's lab, everyone celebrates, and Proto Man delivers a message to Mega Man from Duo, which was a simple thank you. Mega Man returns his thanks to him as the credits roll. So Mega Man 8 was a pretty decent game. Like I said earlier, it plays like an updated version of the old games of the classic series, but there are a few issues, and generally I just personally feel that the classic series doesn't fit too well on the PlayStation and Sega Saturn consoles, which I think is why we never saw Mega Man 9 until 11 years later when it reverted back to the 8-bit format, and the Mega Man franchise went in a different direction on the modern consoles. And that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.